Hey everybody, welcome into another edition of the QB Academy. Bob Trossett alongside my partner Michael Nebrich, former All-Met Player of the Year in 2010 and Lake Braddock grad. We're happy to have you back.
Always a pleasure.
Got two QBs on the tap today. I know you're itching to get into them and break down some of their tape. Let's first get into Jacob Keeney. What can you tell me about him?
Yeah, Jacob Keeney from Hayfield. He's a special player to watch, and this year he's having himself a fantastic year statistically and as a team. Right now he's throwing 63% completion rating, which is fantastic for a high school quarterback with 2,000 yards and 31 total touchdowns there. And this kid's a nightmare for defenses because he has a very live arm. He can fit the ball into tight windows. He can throw the ball down the field. He's got a lot of playmakers around him, which allow him to make explosive plays down the field. And he also is very good running the football. So he's a nightmare for defenses to try and stop. And I think that's why you're seeing the success that he's had this year.
And he's not the only one that's having success. Hayfield's also off to a hot start, 6-1. So let's get into a little bit of those highlights about what makes this kid so special.
Yeah, and we're going to start off with his arm strength here, like I kind of mentioned. And this play's a little bit unique because the defense is actually going to be running a cover 5 here. So it's going to be a cover 4 to the field and a cover 2 to the boundary. So I think whether he saw the cover 5 or not, he definitely sees 2 high safeties here, and he knows that his number 3 wide receiver is going to be running that little bender route. And what he does an excellent job of, let's go right back to the top here, he does an excellent job at taking his footwork and then taking his hitches up in the pocket. So let's go slow motion here. Does a nice job with his drop back there and then hitches up in the pocket to create that momentum going forward. And then you see that big live arm there driving the football down the field, 35, 40 yards down the field on an absolute line, getting it there before that safety can get across. And let's just play this full speed here so you can see it. Just driving that football in there, getting it to his guy right in time, and then you see the playmakers that he has being able to escape downfield. So a big live arm that he uses really well.
All right, Keeney's clearly got a live arm, as you said. He got the rocket. What else is in his arsenal?
Well, I think that the biggest thing that I like about him is he has that live arm, but he also knows how to use touch passes in the red zone, and that's very hard to do as a young player when you have such a big live arm. So we're going to take a look here. Just a touch throw to the back of the end zone here. Like I said, when players his age have that live arm, they have a difficult time finding the touch, especially down in the red zone. He does an excellent job here. Let's just roll this slow motion. Does an excellent job here at taking those quick little steps, gets his hips lined up, and then delivers a perfect touch ball to the back of the end zone there. But the thing he does really well is he puts enough height on the footballs, which allows his wide receivers to go up and make plays. Instead of trying to force the ball in a little bit flat and put it in the perfect spot, he does an excellent job putting height on the football, and that allows his guys to just go up, make a play for him. Doesn't have to be a perfect throw every single time. So he does an excellent job in the red zone using that touch to give his guys a chance to make a play. And a lot of times you see them come down with those catches.
I think it's safe to say you made a few of those type of throws in your career. Just how difficult is it to fit it in a window like that in the back of the end zone?
Well, it's very difficult, and especially when you have a big-time arm, because what you want to do is you just want to throw it as far as you can and hope your guy can run to it. When you're in the red zone, you don't have that room, so you have to rely on the touch throws and putting the ball in the perfect spot, which is difficult for high schoolers because that's when they try and aim it. He does a really nice job at just throwing the football. And I know that sounds a little bit cliche of just letting it rip, but that's what he does, and that's what makes him successful in those red zone touch throws.
All right, one final highlight on Keeney. What do you got for us?
So now we're going to talk about his mobility here. And like I said, he's not the fastest guy out there, but he's a nightmare for defenses when they actually have the play covered up really well. And this actually ends up being a broken play that he ends up just doing his thing, using his athleticism to get in there. Now let's go up to the top here, and I want to show you kind of what happens here. I believe what this play is trying to do is he's going to ride the fake here quickly and then turn his hips and throw it to his wide receiver as he crosses the linebackers. Let's go up to the top here, and what happens is I think there's some miscommunication here. So I'd say probably 99% of the time, if you have a broken play in high school, it's usually a negative play. Right here, the play's broken. Most quarterbacks panic, don't know what to do with the football, and that's where you see negative plays happen. Keeney just uses his athleticism. Once he gets outside, the defensive backs have to respect him throwing the football, which allows him to run the football because they have to stay with their guys. If he tries to run, if the DB's try and detach from their guys and try and run after him, he just dumps the football over their head. So he's a nightmare for defenses, especially in the red zone with that arm that he has. And then again here, just using that athleticism in the red zone to make plays for his team. And you've been seeing it all year, and that's why he's had the success that he's had running the football and throwing the football as well.
Having such a wide and such a variety type of arsenal. What does that do for a defense, and how does that open up your offense for Hayfield's case?
Well, what it does from a defensive perspective is it forces them to stay disciplined. And we all know in high school that's very hard for kids to do. It forces them to have good eyes, make sure they're reading their keys, and it forces them to stay in their lanes as a defense. Most high school guys, it's very hard for them to do. They want to make that play. They want to make that big play that changes the game. And Keeney does an excellent job at exposing that when things start to break down.
All right, I think that'll do it on Jacob Keeney. I think you should expect for Hayfield to continue its dominance so far here in the season, 6-1 as for a record, and they don't really see any signs of slowing down for Hayfield and Keeney. So that'll do it for this edition on the QB Academy. Bob Trossett, my partner Michael Nebrich. We'll see you next time.